Welcome to the Your Family Dog podcast, where we celebrate the special bond between families and their canine companions. Our goal is to help families and dogs grow up together, one episode at a time. Welcome back to the Your Family Dog podcast. I'm your host, Tina Spring, and today I'm joined by Michael and Lisa Lisk of StypStyx, the only quick and easy way to stop nail bleeds on dogs without all the mess. So, Lisa and Mike, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Of course, absolutely. Dr. Glassman was like, you have to talk to the Lisks and about StypStyx. He was so excited about the product, and I knew nothing about it. So I'm excited to learn more too. I hope our listeners are as well. So what made you guys decide that you wanted to make a new way to stop bleeding when dogs get quicked when they're getting their toenails done?
Well, we've had a grooming shop for 24 years. Recently sold it a few years ago. And we had some folks come. We have walk-in nail trim service, and it's an interruption in our workflow. People got to stop their work to take it. And we try to get this nail trim, rather quickly.
Right.
So it's just a convenience, and it's. So we had a couple instances where the dog's nail was quicked and used some styptic powder, and it might have taken several applications of the styptic, or when the dog stood up and struck the nail across the floor or whatever, it would start rebleeding. And we had a particularly bad incident with a walking nail trim that we basically had about 3 people spending about 45 minutes on a very busy day, trying to take care of this nail bleed. And I'm an aircraft mechanic by trade. I lost my mind one day and I decided I was going to buy this grooming shop. So I had a steep learning curve in the pet care industry. And one of the things was this nail bleed thing that I wasn't greatly aware of. And I just looked at it and I said I thought it was ludicrous that you would try to stop, basically a leak, a bleed, a leak with powder, the mess, the waste, the staining in the hands and everything. And we had actually, probably in like 2014, we had come up with something, and we tried to make it commercially viable. We actually licensed it to a big pet care company, and they put such a huge price tag on it that it just failed in the market. But it was a great product.
It was a nail bleed product as well.
Yeah.
On the same lines as this one. So after that happened, we kind of regrouped and revamped it then.
Yeah.
Well, and I have heard a lot of stories that way, where like some big company comes in and says, "Hey, we love your product, we're gonna buy it," and then people are like, "Yeah, but you ruined it."
They don't take care of it like you do. You know what I mean? Like we're like,
right, it's your baby,
like our child.
They
exactly.
They basically put an astronomical price tag on it. It was on Amazon. It was being distributed, and then it just
fizzled out.
It was just too high priced the way they said.
And we didn't want that.
Right.
We took it to test the market. We took it to the Groom Expo,
right?
2014, and we were on TV being interviewed, and
we got the new product of the year that year.
We sold a gazillion of them.
And
so
nice.
So we revamped this product because, of course, it was just, I always like to have the right tool for the job.
Absolutely.
So we started talking about, the styptic not being a powder, and we got a hold of some chemists, and they worked with us for about a year, and we come up with some different ideas, maybe having it like a pool cue chalk, and something like that, and in cubes, and finally, we were just looking for something that wasn't so messy, and finally one day I was watching some video where this lady was fill in a lip balm, some kind of chapstick thing. And I thought, my God, if we could do that, I think this is, and we started playing with that and got it going. And every day we're trying to reformulate and make it better. So it's still a work in progress. However, um, sales are very strong. Most of our sales come from Amazon. And the reviews are good. Um, but so we're just looking to improve. And of course, now we're been making these by hand, and that gets to be quite a task,
Something.
especially make thousands of them.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
so that's where it came from.
You became a manufacturer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We
I retired and then I from the grooming industry, but then now I moved my sewing area to the side. So we have the StypStix
No,
set up.
no, no, we don't move the sewing area to the
Well,
side. Like, the
it's
sewing
summer.
area is important.
I know summer. It's summer though, so that's okay. Winter
Oh,
time.
you sew in the winter.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I live in Georgia. It's hot as Hades outside. I sew all year.
Do ya? Oh
Yeah, a
yeah.
little bit less spring and fall because I wanna be outside, but, like, right now, it's ridiculously humid and silly
Sure.
outside.
Yeah.
So yeah, I sew all year, and it's a wonderful stress reliever. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, it is.
So, how would you? Because I didn't realize there was a starter, and I didn't get the starter
Yeah.
pack. So, let's
Okay.
talk about the starter pack,
Sure.
and then I have an applicator, so now I need
Okay.
to order the starter pack. But let's talk about kind of how this whole system works and how
Okay.
it's an advantage over dumping StypStix into the lid of the quick
Oh,
stop and then
oh,
shoving the toenail in it repeatedly and all that jazz.
Uh, I wanna iterate before we go any further. This has been in the process since 2007. So this has been a process
Nice.
that we have been perfecting and perfecting and perfecting and perfecting, and we tell people who purchase this, I mean, if you have any trouble with it, like, just call us. I mean, it's just Mike and I. So,
Right.
we have to replace the product or anything like that. I mean, this is what we do. So we want
Right.
to be satisfied because this is what it's about. But anyway, yeah, the starter kit comes with, of course, the applicator and also the little paddle. Okay, in there,
Yes.
instructions on how to do the StypStix. But in our shop, in many shops, groomers would prep the dog, do their ears, do their nails, do some sanitary trims and stuff prior to the bath.
Right.
So, a lot of times when you nick a nail or you quick a nail, you can stop it, but you put that dog in the water to
And
get
it's
the
gonna
bath,
start
it's
again.
gonna start bleeding again. So and also there's snow here, not now, but we have snow, we have all 4 seasons. And if there's a dog that comes in the winter for perhaps has a nail bleed, we fix it up with some powder or whatever at that time. And
Right.
the dog would go and get into the car after being in the rain or the snow and scuffing up that nail and
Now it
re-bleeding.
starts bleeding
And
again.
then you got, to detail the car. You're going to have an unhappy customer. You have people that are screaming online because what did you do? People don't believe how bloody a nail bleed can be until
Yes.
they have one and they have their dog in the back seat in the white interior and get out of the car and see how awful it is. So, yeah, so these nail caps, we call them insurance policies. Okay, there's 4 different sizes, and because we had this salon, the grooming salon, we were able to do a lot of testing on what fits what.
Right. Like all different sized dogs.
Yeah, yeah. So then what you want to do, this is the way we use these. We want to clean off the nail with cotton ball, anything you got there. Clean it off, hit it with the StypStix. Okay, stop that bleeding. Now you'll know by that whether it's going to maybe bleed through some more. You have the control and the amount that you're gonna use already. You can
Right.
hit it again. You get it stopped, but you're gonna put that dog in the tub. You just wanna slide this on. Just slide it right on over. Now, people say that, "Can I put the styptic powder in these caps and put that?" No, because the dog's bleeding.
Right.
So you put the styptic powder in the bottom of this, you're gonna fill that cap up with blood
Right.
before you're gonna stop that nail bleed. So that's
Right.
how these work. So they come with the starter kit, or you can order them separate. They're on, I think, $8.95, I believe, for a separate order. But yeah, so that's we like that. We like that part of it.
So
And
then do you leave that on
Yes.
yeah,
forever? Or are
forever,
you leaving it
forever
on until, like, later in the day
during
and
the
you
day.
can take
'Cause
it off
yeah,
and the dog's good?
because I feel like when the dog gets quick like that, or even at the grooming shop anyway, it's a change from their routine, and their heart's going, and maybe they're bleeding a little bit more because
Their
they're
blood pressure's up probably.
exactly. So once they get home anyway, they're probably calming down. They're probably okay by that time. And we just tell the owners, like, honestly, we had a cap on a dog that it was oh, what a basset hound, oh brother, like cashew nails. And we put a cap on it, and the owners didn't even know like anything about the cap. I didn't tell them anything about it. And that dog came back for the nail trim 6 or 8 weeks later, and that nail grew right through that cap. So, it's not if it falls off, it's okay. If it doesn't, it's okay. It's not gonna harm
If
anything.
they chew on it, it's not gonna hurt
It's okay.
them.
Right, it'll pass right through. So, yeah, but we say, it's an insurance policy, and I think many of the groomers especially, were really amazed with the caps with that, because that saves time and money.
Right, and I think often families will not realize that, like, groomers are about production, right? They
Mhm.
can't take 2 hours helping your dog relax so that they're not squirming around when you're trying to cut toenails. Um, like, you guys are, like, trying to get it done, and in a big shop, that's often, like, the newest it might be the bather, it might be the newest person there, right? I mean, I used to cut 9 dogs worth of toenails every Sunday. I can cut toenails in every direction known to man, like, it doesn't matter how you wad me up, I can cut a toenail. And I do wanna know, does this have the same superpower as Quick Stop, that if you have it ready to go, you won't use it? Like, I never quick a dog if I get my quick
Right,
stop
right.
out and pour it in the cap and I
Yes.
have it ready to go,
Like a
Yeah,
supernatural.
won't
yeah,
quick the dog at all. Like,
right,
it'll be
right,
totally fine, I can dump it back in. I have the same
right.
bottle of Quick Stop that I bought in,
Oh
I don't
my
know,
goodness.
91,
Yeah,
There
right?
you go.
yeah.
It doesn't expire. If it had an expiration on it, I would just laugh at them because it's not gonna expire. But I very rarely fortunately, I very rarely quick a
Mhm,
dog, and if I do, I very rarely have to use Quick Stop. Like, most of the time, it's like you get that one little bubble where I
mhm.
got just at the edge of the quick, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry I did that to you." Um, but does this do the same thing? If you have it out ready to go, you won't need it?
Well, I don't know. You know what? The problem with it is it's so convenient, so little that groomers put them in their grooming jackets and forget about them. Maybe throw them in the washer. That seems to be the
Oh,
only.
yeah, no, that would be bad.
But opposed to having a dog kick off a brand new jar of Quick Stop powder, I mean, that Mike would order us, I groomed in the shop, and he'd order about a half a dozen at a time of the Quick Stop powder, and no kidding, no kidding. And like you said, it's we had one jar going around, going around, going. So we have one for everybody now. And then what happens? They're getting kicked off the tables. And now they're no good. They're getting, you can't
Right,
pick
it's on the floor, and
one.
it does stain.
Yes, it does stain terrible. And
That
that's what we did not like about that, especially the blood and the stain of the blood and the powder. It's
we have
awful.
a vet tech that was working at the vet across the street from us. She was doing all her nail trims with gloves on, uh, because she said that she didn't want she was getting married and they're going to take pictures of her hand with the ring on. She didn't
Mhm.
want the brown stains in the picture
Yeah, because you can't get them off.
from the styptic
Right.
picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so that's the nutshell on how we came about. I mean, it was that one dog many dogs, but I mean, it was that one dog on that Saturday the busiest day of the week.
Right.
All of our groomers had to come to the rescue. We have a full staff on Saturdays. And we have like 4 full-timers, 2 part-timers, and a receptionist, everything. And we have to, everybody's putting their dogs back and coming over and helping with this dog. And of course, the vet across the street, they're not open because it's Saturday because they're closed,
Right.
and you need them to. But we have to, that's when he went in, he penciled it out. He still has his little drawings. He's like, this is what I want to do. This is what we need to do. And it's been a learning process along the way. And I have to say, I am so pleased with people who have purchased from us. And really, sometimes we get people that don't like change. They're all
Well, I
time
mean, I think
boomers
all
or
people are kind of like, wait for your phone to update. You're like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah, right.
I think
Like,
that's part of the human condition.
I think when you use it, that's the thing. We always said, if we could just get it in your hands, you will never go back to that powder.
Yeah.
It's, right now we're running until the end of the month, a 15% off sale on everything.
Oh,
And,
nice.
yeah, till the end of July. So, it would be a good opportunity for anyone to pick it up to give it a try. But, for the price, I think it's wonderful. I don't know. We have not gotten to the bottom. I don't know how many applications are in it. To me, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're just still learning, but we haven't. I appreciate the helpful criticism from our customers who, will say, then, it smelled. I don't know. Does it smell this way? Or this didn't, whatever. We appreciate that they're not going on social media and saying, well, this is a piece of crap product.
Yeah.
Just work with us.
Well, and like, so I have my little for the one I ordered here, and it has the little paddle, which I was really impressed. I mean, with my dogs, I guess I've never worried with the StypStyx about like, oh, I pour what's left of the powder back in and then use it on a different dog. It never even occurred to me. And so I do like that the little paddle, if I remember correctly, is actually to like clean the StypStyx, right?
Yes.
So you're not using it to like file the dog's nail. You're using it to create a
To clean it.
brand new, like
Yeah.
starting again at a
Yeah.
brand new edge that doesn't have any blood from a previous dog on it.
And that would be a rare occasion that you would get blood on that. You would have to set that on the nail and let the blood bleed into that
Like
stick. The
penetrate.
thing is when you're
Mm.
striking across that nail, kind of like a pool cue, that material is shedding off and packing into the nail. So the material is going on the nail and
Instead of the
packing in,
blood, it's
and
getting on.
the blood, since the material is going to the nail, it's not coming back on the applicator. However, if in the rare situation that you got a spot of blood on there, yes, you could remove it.
Possibly. Well, but here's the thing. Yeah, you can remove it. When we went to the veterinarian show in Orlando and talked to many, many professionals, veterinarians, vet techs, I mean, all these people in that field, it seemed like when we went to the grooming show, more groomers were concerned about cross contamination.
Right.
And then when we went to the veterinarian show, I really thought we were going to be scrutinized. I really about that. I thought, because we've read it, we've addressed it the best we can, but veterinarians were going, no, nothing's going to be living on that styptic like
Yeah.
that. There's not going to be any cross contamination.
Well, again, like it's not something I've ever thought about. And
And
like,
and groomers don't realize that when they're trying to do a nail trim, they've already packed the nail, picking this powder out of the jar and pack a nail, and then putting that bloody fingers back in that powder.
Yeah.
That's cross contamination too. So
so
when people start arguing about cross contamination, well, look at the ways. If you dump it out, if the dog dumps it out on your grooming table, I'll bet you 90% of the groomers are taking that and putting it right back in the jar from their
right.
grooming table, when in fact that could be cross contamination. So
Yeah.
I felt very confident when we talked to I mean, there was not one veterinarian that said anything about cross contamination.
Yeah. And it's interesting. It didn't it's really honestly just never occurred to me. But I don't quick a dog that often, right?
Yeah.
I run puppy classes, and a lot of times with puppy classes, one person will say, "Hey, can you help me cut toenails?" Usually when we're doing the husbandry lesson, and I'm like, "Sure." Get out my squeezy cheese. God bless squeezy cheese. And I have, the handler is holding the dog, and I am just boom, boom, boom with little itty bitty cat
Mhm.
toenail
Yeah, yeah.
trimmer and just trimming those little hooks off. I don't even remember the last time I quicked a dog. Like, I just don't remember. Now, for my dogs, most of the time I'm using a grinder, and
Yes.
I'm kind of shortening toenails that way. But with itty bitty puppies, I don't have the time to introduce it, so I just trim 'em.
Well, I think too, like, the dogs that we had coming in as walk-ins, we took them anytime and no appointment necessary. So people would bring in their dog that has maybe been outside for always, and you get those great big, it's maybe a lab or a bigger dog that has his cashew nails that haven't been cut in God knows how long. That's the kind of dogs that we were kind of targeting because they're the leaders. They're the
And
ones that
they've
Yeah.
got
really gonna
large blood
so we
vessels.
had yeah, they got large blood vessels. So we were like when we first started, we were targeting that size dog because it seemed like that was the problem dog. So we couldn't get, you know, um, um,
Well,
get
yeah, it's like you cut a hose, and now you're trying to stuff dirt into it to stop it
right.
up,
Yeah.
and it's like, well,
Yeah.
that's inefficient at best, and there's not really an easy way. I mean, you can use cornstarch. I've heard of people using cornstarch, and I've thought, like, cornstarch in some ways might almost be better because it's so fine that
Yeah.
it
Oh, sure.
maybe get in there.
Uh-huh.
But the
Get
same
in there.
thing, I
Yeah.
mean, I a lot of times when I have quicked a dog, I like use the StypStyx, and then I'm like, okay, you're gonna go in your crate, and here's a bone to chew on for a couple hours so that that sets, and they're not walking all over the house, with little itty bitty drips of blood. And I always feel terrible, so they get something really yummy because I made an error. So, do you have any toenail cutting tips that you want to share?
Well, before I give you any tips, I want to say for people who Dremel nails, that's awesome that they do that. And even sometimes, like you were saying about you cut one dog's nail and you could see the quick, or, it was close,
There's
but not,
like that
it
little
didn't.
that
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
itty bitty pinprick of blood where I was
Yeah.
right at the very edge.
That's it, that's it, and you know what? If that dog would had have been bathed after or was going out to play, I'd have slipped one of those little caps just for insurance, you know what I mean? That would be an instance that I would use that. But for trimming nails, what worked for us at the shop, anything that we could do, it depended on what the dog was doing, but, usually I was the dog whisperer because I was the dog shanker, so I never Mike said he did this product for me, but I was the little girl that would go in there and do nails that no one else would do, or these curled nails, or the problem nail, or whatever.
No,
You know what I mean?
those curled nails, when
Oh my
nails get
goodness,
overgrown, it's such a
it
problem.
is. It is. So I would tackle those, but I didn't do it in on purpose to
Right,
keep them or anything like that, But
right,
for doing the nails, I know that what worked for me was, I always had a partner. I had a partner and I had the one person, like with a face, and even if it was muzzled, just kind of just talk to the dog and you can
right.
get that done so much better if the dog is calm. But if you're by yourself, I just do everything kind of backwards. I just pull the, legs back at the tail and the front legs back to the belly and do them that way. That's the quickest I can do. Then again, depends on the dog, depends on the
And
dog.
depends on those toenails. If they're super curled in, oh,
Yeah.
it it's
Makes
hard.
sense.
It's
Yeah.
difficult to do.
Yeah.
So, you have the starter pack, which has the caps,
Hmm.
and then you have what I apparently just bought, the applicator.
Hmm.
See if we can, there you go.
Yeah.
Um, so we're not really sure how long it lasts because, like, ideally, you're not using it a whole bunch. Like, don't quick your dog. Like, don't quick your
Yeah.
dog, it hurts. But
If you do.
you do quick your dog, here's a way to help make it more comfortable and heal more quickly and not bleed all over your
Yes.
place.
Yes.
I actually, um the groomer who taught me 150 years ago when I was young actually does toenails in the bathtub. So she lets those toenails soak so they're softer.
I see.
And the dog's already mad that it's getting a bath. So while the conditioner is doing its job or the no-shed treatment is doing its job or whatever, she just does toenails while it's in the tub, which I thought was brilliant. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, even when I go for a pedicure, they soak my feet before they call the farrier to trim my hooves. And
Yeah.
I'm always appreciative of that, like having a little more pliable toenail. So I grew up with Dobes, and Dobe toenails are so hard. It's like trimming concrete. It's crazy.
Ugh.
And
Yeah.
so the same thing. I was like, here, you're going to stand in the kiddie pool for a minute and soften
Yeah.
those toenails up.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
Nice. Well, I'm so excited for you. And this is a wonderful product. I love that it doesn't take up any space. It's super easy to use. So you said it's like striking a match almost?
Yeah, you can just strike at it lightly, and it'll actually start turning into a powder. But instead of going all over the table or all over the floor,
It's
you're
going in the
using
nail.
yeah,
Yep.
it's going in the nail.
And you're
Um,
controlling all that, the
so
pressure, the amount, so yeah, it's pretty cool.
so one of the things that we kind of talked around, but we never talked directly about, is the caps. So we touched upon the fact this busy Saturday with this high strung, I think it was kind of German Shepherd, and a bunch of people had to hold this dog and everything. And the ironic thing is every time we used the StypStix powder and we got that stopped up, the dog would stand up, and the way the nail contacted the floor, he would take
It'd restart it.
yeah. And we had done this process over and over and over again, more times than I can ever think. And this dog was really, really, really not liking it. He was stressed out, you know.
Yes.
So
Understandably.
right. And with that, anybody that's been in the veterinary business or the grooming business is the public doesn't realize that pretty much most dogs at a vet or at a groomer are gonna get at least one quick nail. I mean, that's just the way it is, okay? And we even had the risks of grooming aboard up because, we said, "Well, you know what? The public should know," yeah. And there was a couple lines in there about nail bleeds, that there is a risk of a nail bleed when you're having your dog's nails trimmed, so at least we were upfront about it. So at least we told you. I don't know if a lot of people read that because when they were upset, they claimed they didn't. But where the caps come in is the fact that, it takes a lot of advertising dollars to get a customer into your store. And it's really idiotic, basically, if you lose that customer over something that costs you 15 cents, let's say, for a cap.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
thing is, you could avoid the whole thing because no matter how good of a groomer or how good of a tech you are, veterinarian, if there's blood all over that car when they get home, you're
They're
done.
mad at you.
And they're possibly gonna, put some stuff on their Facebook page, and no matter how much, if you give them a discount or whatever you do for them, you probably lost them as a customer. So for professionals that are in the business, it's very important that they spend that few cents on each dog, especially if it's a larger nail. So where we came about this, getting back to the urgency for this, we had
Right.
we finally got this dog to stop bleeding. We had some of those glue-on nail caps that, people put on
Right.
other cats so they don't scratch your legs or your furniture or hardwood floor.
Right.
We
Or if
actually
they're having, or even if they're having problems with traction,
right.
right? Dogs that are nervous or are having a hard time getting that they're afraid of solid surfaces. A lot of times those toe grips work really great.
Yeah. So we ended up going into our supply locker, and after that, we were sure that nail would stop bleeding. We actually glued one of those caps on to get that dog out of there. And then that's what led me to believe, well, hey, there might be this might solve the problem of, getting that occasional phone call where somebody's screaming to you that they can't believe that you made their dog bleed and that, they got a car full of blood. And what are you going to do about it? So I encourage all the professionals out there to buy the insurance. It's
Yeah,
not a
that's
lot.
right. Buy the insurance, $8.95.
Well, it's one of those things. Again, like if you have it, you won't need it as often.
That's right.
There you go.
And again, I think as families, so I talk about this a lot from the customer side too, that as the person who the dog is a member of their family, spending some time conditioning the dog to be relaxed and happy during nail grooms or toothbrushing or having their ears cleaned or getting bathed and groomed goes a long way toward preventing
Mhm.
the quicking of a nail, right?
Mhm.
Like I've never quicked a nail, knock on wood. I've never quicked a nail on a dog who was like relaxed and laying out flat on their side, eating
Right.
little pieces of chicken for me cutting a toenail.
Yeah, right.
I have quicked a nail when a dog is arguing with me about it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, and often I want to say the last time I quicked a dog was I was trimming a nail that the dog had like split part of it off, and I was trying to get that little extra piece off.
Yeah.
But the dog was already upset because it felt weird, right? So
Mhm.
it was like lots of dancing, and I'm like standing still waiting for the dog to relax so that I can do that little. I probably should have just filed it, but I didn't think of it at the time.
Yeah,
So
right.
so before we rolled recording, I told you I had a horrible story, a horrible toenail story. So I have the sweetest couple in the world, and they adopted this dog, this puppy, who is he makes their heart sing. Like he adores them. He's like a first child. And this puppy has had every weird, silly, scary thing that you could imagine going on with this puppy, right? Like it's like I- if it was a tarot deck, it's a mess. So I think the first day they brought him home, he broke with screaming diarrhea and got dehydrated, and it became an emergency. And like that's how their whole life with him has been. And he's the sweetest kiddo. Trace is awesome. So I was at work and I'm like packing up to go home at the end of the night. And I get this text from them. They had called and texted while I was teaching, and I don't look at my phone while I'm teaching. So it's, the end of the night. I'm packing up. I go to grab my phone to see, like, am I getting a text from my guy saying, "Hey, can you pick up, milk on the way home?" And like my phone's been blown up. So I immediately call them because they're panicked over they quicked the dog. And I'm thinking, oh, they quicked the puppy. Okay. I can just walk them through this. Like they're so sweet. Well, as I'm talking to them, it very quickly becomes apparent that I don't understand what they're talking about. They didn't just quick this puppy. He pushed off when they went to cut and they sliced the nail lengthwise.
Yeah.
So yeah, no amount of cornstarch is going to stop that, right? Like that's just, and I have never heard of that injury. I'm sure y'all have, but I haven't. I've never, thank goodness, never had that happen with a dog. Now I live in fear that it
Yeah.
could occur. But I actually met them at the emergency vet
Aw.
because and the sweet woman, Sarah was like, my house looks like a crime scene, right? Because there's cornstarch everywhere, there's blood everywhere.
God.
They have like white furniture. She has learned how to take out every stain known to man. She's amazing, right?
Mm.
So their sweet family was like traumatized from toenail cutting. So, and this was a puppy who is very sensitive. He has very big feelings. So anytime he gets stressed, he pees on you.
No.
So it was like, I was like, oh, for goodness sakes, this is going to be a mess. So yeah, we've done some conditioning on toenail cutting so that he chills out and just lets us do it. But I always tell them they don't have to love getting a mani pedi, but they do have to relax and just let it happen, and it'll be over in. Because if a dog will relax, I could do toenails in like 30 seconds. You'll be up and out of here in no time.
Mhm.
But if you fight with me, it's going to take forever.
So I'm curious, what did the vet do for that nail?
So literally, it stopped bleeding in the lobby.
Of course.
They never saw the vet,
Yeah.
and the vet tech said to them, "I'm gonna, like, wrap it up a little bit, and we're gonna give him a cone so he doesn't lick it and, like, lick the StypStyx off," but she's like, "If he doesn't need to see the vet, we're not charging to see the
Yeah,
vet.
right. Yeah.
Like,
We had
we're not gonna do anything to monkey with it. We're just gonna make sure that we get it good and solid so that it doesn't start bleeding again."
we had a review come in where a woman said the dog caught the nail on something and split the nail in that fashion. Um, and she used our product. She said it stopped it.
And the cap. And there was also
Oh,
a guy.
wow. Well, and again, like, this idea of the cap is, like, an awesome idea.
Well, here's something that somebody gave me at the grooming show in Orlando, or the veterinarian show in Orlando. But this person made first aid kits for dogs.
I
So
love
he
that.
wanted to.
I have one on my kitchen table right now.
Well, he said, that he wanted to put StypStyx in that first aid kit.
I love that.
How many dogs are out there hiking with their humans, and they just naturally cut their nail or break their nail or something. If you have the StypStyx and you gotta, I mean, I don't know, just maybe think about that in the first aid kit, and you've got those caps. How that would be a lifesaver if you're out in the middle of the woods and you got your
Absolutely.
dog back to your car. You know what
Well,
I mean?
and I looked through my first aid kit the other day, and it doesn't have anything. It doesn't
Mm,
have a StypStyx in it. Like, it doesn't have anything
mm,
for dealing with nails.
mhm.
So, that's a really great idea. I'll have to buy an extra applicator and some caps
And
and
just
throw
keep
them
it
in there, a
all the
starter
time,
pack.
right? And you just might be the savior when you're out there walking your dog, or you're
Right,
out
helping somebody.
and somebody else with that. Yeah, I mean, people, and then they're like, "You're the best and the best friend and, the smartest and the
Right,
everything."
I get to be a superhero.
That's exactly what you already are. You're already a superhero.
Oh, well, I doubt that, but I do try to be a good person. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I can't wait as you, um, continue to kinda, I don't know, make it even better. I hope you'll come back and keep us posted.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely,
I
sure.
would love that
Hey, we're
because
gonna
I mean, everybody has to do it, like, all of our dogs' toenails have to get cut.
Yep. Well, we're gonna be in Hershey, at the grooming show in September, and, we're gonna be embedded with, Pet Store Direct. They have, like, a little section there with hodgepodge of pet supplies
They
and
have
such.
like a store.
Yeah,
It's an online store, but they go to the grooming shows. They have a physical store there. They're one of the vendors.
and they're
They're
gonna carry StypStyx,
Yeah.
and so we're gonna go there, we're gonna talk with people, but we're not gonna have our own booth and everything, we're just gonna be hanging out with them, and so if any of your listeners are in Hershey at that time, it's a wonderful show. They're
And
very.
Hershey Park is so fun.
Oh, it's all beautiful down that way, isn't it? Oh, so, yeah,
I've
so that.
only been there once, and it was when I was, let's see, how old was I? 13.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So, it's
Well,
been a minute.
yeah, it has been, sure has, so but anyway, yeah, so that would be great, we would love to come back and talk with you, maybe even after that to let you know how things are going.
Well, and if you ever come to Atlanta, even if you have a layover, let
Right.
me know.
Well, don't invite us because 'cause we'll show up, that's what they tell us,
Well,
all of our friends.
I'll
what
make you cut toenails. That'll.
Okay.
what part of Atlanta are you in?
So I'm not in Atlanta. I'm in a little town called Athens, Georgia. That's about an hour because I, like you, measure distance in time. So if it's raining, it's 3 hours away,
Yeah.
and if it's not raining, it's an hour away.
Are you north of Atlanta?
Yeah, I'm northeast of Atlanta.
Okay. I've
Yeah.
spent a few days with a woman that was trying to get her grooming practice up, and we're doing some consulting. What is it, Lawrence?
Lawrenceville. Yep.
Lawrence. Yes,
There's a Lawrenceville.
yeah, yeah, I spent a little time in that area many, many years ago.
Well, and groomers are hysterical. Like some of my best friends are groomers and they're so funny and they have so many stories. I once I was out taking business cards around just to, you know, do advertising and went into one of my favorite shops that doesn't exist anymore that in Jefferson, Georgia. And Tracy, the woman who owned it at the time, well, the name of the shop was Doggy Stylin', which I mean, my training company is called Sit Happens, so you could
Oh,
see
yeah, right,
we're gonna
right.
get along, right? So so I go in to drop off pens and business cards and
Yeah.
stuff, and she's grooming up 12 newfs
Oh, wow.
to go to a show to de-shed them. And
Wow.
she's like, she just handed me a smock and said, "You're helping." So I spent my whole day blowing out a coat and learning how to do all the things. And yeah, I will pay whatever it costs a groomer to groom my dogs, my sweet boys, because I had hair in places I didn't know I had places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
amazing how much hair can come off of a dog.
Oh, I
Um,
know.
and where I teach classes now, there's a grooming shop in the store. And yesterday or Wednesday, they groomed a peer who comes in once a year for the big cut down. And I mean, it was like you could have had 17 dogs. It looked like snowdrifts. It was just
Yeah.
so much coat.
Yeah, I think people need to tip their groomers better.
Well, so especially since the explosion of doodles,
Oh,
it's
right.
like there's just not enough groomers, and it's hard work and it's dangerous work, right?
It's
People don't know that groomers get hair long, they cut themselves, they get hair splinters just like a hairdresser. It's a big deal. It's a lot of work.
Mhm.
Yeah, when you're blending that coat with a force dryer, you should have a
You'd be all masked up and
Respirator on. Yep.
yeah, or an M95, something.
Or
There's
even when you're clipping, right? All those little hairs.
Yeah, I was I still am, but a hairstylist prior to doing dogs. So when I met Mike and he had the grooming shop, I just thought I was gonna help him out a little bit, but I ended up staying for the whole time. So we just, ran the business together then, and I taught myself we had an instructor, and I taught myself pretty much how to groom, which wasn't too far off of, other than, humans don't poop on you. But, other than that, I mean, I think the dogs were, like, real I mean, it just came pretty naturally that I had the scissor skills
Yes.
that I had, but I
Right.
truly didn't even know what the business was about until, after getting these dogs and matted dogs have been neglected and dogs that have it's
Right.
people don't even have any idea. They think that they take this dog in there, it's gonna come out all foo-foo. No, it might come down all shaved, but, if they're
Well,
not
and
caring for it
even
themselves.
that, like, it takes a lot of skill.
Yeah,
At
and
one point
patience.
I had a Tibetan Terrier and a Shih Tzu, and I was like, "I'll groom them myself."
Yeah,
Those poor dogs.
yeah.
no.
They looked awful. They looked like they were attacked with a weed whacker. It was ugly. I eventually got better at it, but it's a big skill.
It
It's
is
not
big.
easy to do, and it's way easier on the dog if you have someone who knows what they're doing, right? It's
Yes,
bang, boom, and
absolutely.
it's done. You have all the tools, you have everything set up to do it.
Mhm.
I do worry that they get a little bit stressed sometimes, but we can as the families of these dogs, we can do something like cooperative care, 7 steps for stress-free husbandry, and really condition the dogs that this is what the Air Force dryer is and this is what this is. I do think the Air Force dryers scare the tar out of a lot of dogs.
Yeah,
It does.
we put the happy hoodies on them, so it would
Oh,
mute
did you put
them.
hoodies on them?
Yeah, and, and that is true, but once they start getting groomed and this is what I learned a long time ago, the dogs are coming in and getting groomed just when they're matted, and then no wonder they're fearful. They
Right,
have to
'cause it
understand
hurts.
from the start. They have to understand, and owners have to understand, when you take a dog in, if this dog needs groomed every 6 weeks, then you gotta get that dog groomed every 6 weeks. If you don't have the
Yes.
cost to do that, learn how to do it yourself, or don't get a dog, because that's what it requires. And so don't go to your groomer when you haven't done anything with your dog for 6 months and you say, "I don't want my dude to look like a poodle." Well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Mats, mats, mats,
Well,
Right.
mats. They
it's
don't
You
understand.
can't
They're not
it's not
educated
possible.
on
Well,
how
and
hard it is for the skin of the dog, so
Well, and I've talked to some owners who were unhappy that, like, they couldn't get their doodle trimmed and leave longer coat, and
yes.
so I eventually just said to them, "Make an appointment for the dog once a week."
Yes.
Like, let the groomer work those,
Yeah.
because those mats are a whole different deal when they're a week old, right?
And
So
those Tibetans, say you had a Tibetan, boy, that's a hard. I had one that did come in weekly. He still took
yeah.
me hours. He did.
Oh,
He did.
yeah, no, mine didn't take hours, but it it, like, just if you're somebody this is how I said it, somebody has to comb that dog to the skin every day.
Mhm.
That and I wish breeders so some breeders, poodle breeders in my experience, actually do a really good job of conditioning puppies from itty bitty, how to get their face trimmed, how to get their feet trimmed, how to do all the things. The really amazing ones teach the families that that puppy is going home with, because I've seen a ton of standard poodle puppies who go home in a show cut. Like, they look like $1,000,000
Mhm.
bucks.
Yeah.
Right? So, it's worth investing the time and energy to learn how to do it, or to find a professional in your community who will help you maintain that dog in a situation where they're thriving. I
Yes.
think we don't always think about how those mats or those long toenails really create problems that are quality of life problems. They hurt.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so your groomer is trying to help with that. They're not trying to shave your dog down to the skin. If they're having to do that, it takes a little bit to learn that, like, yes, you might be brushing, but you might be brushing that there's a mat right next to the skin that you don't know is there. You think you're getting to the skin and
Yeah.
you're not.
Yeah.
So I usually tell people with doodle babies at the store, like, you need one of these stainless steel combs, and
there you go. Yes.
with the stainless steel comb every single day when your puppy is relaxing, like, comb to the skin so that you know that they're not getting all matted. Because
Yeah.
we love them fuzzy.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Brushing softens the coat, but running that comb through pulls out all the little knots that are gonna become big knots, yes.
Mhm.
Yes, and we have silken windhounds, and I mean, I comb each of them every day. It takes 30 seconds and you're done, and they look like $1,000,000. We don't have big, huge mats. It's not a problem.
Right.
Makes
Right.
it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
'Cause I did not really wanna breed with a lot of coat. I am not a groomer. I say that all the time. I am
Mhm.
not a groomer.
Mhm.
I'd rather ride than wrench, right? I'd rather play with the dog and train the dog than groom the
Yeah,
dog. So I
yeah,
needed something that was pretty easy.
there you go.
Well, thank you
Smart.
so much for
Well, thank
spending
Thank
you.
you for having
your
us.
wonderful, precious time with us, and I'm so excited that you created this product and are sharing it with us all. I will be sure to share it with the groomers I know and the veterinarians I know, and it might even be stocking stuckers or
Ooh,
stocking stuffers
There
stuffers.
you
for
There
all the
you
dog owners that I'm friends with, because
Wow, that's a
that's a
nice.
wonderful little tiny, like, "Here, this'll make life
Yes.
better."
Oh, how
great.
nice. Yeah, thank you very
So,
much.
yeah,
Thank
be
you.
sure to shout us out if you come up with another iteration and you wanna talk about it, or even another product, because 'cause
Okay.
I'm
Cool.
guessing you 2 are noodling around some other ideas.
Oh, we're just trying to get through this one.
We got a long way to go.
We do, yeah. There's lots of legalities and lots of,
All the
all
things
that
you didn't
stuff.
know about,
Yeah, all that stuff, I'm
all
the
the
one that, like,
stuff.
I can go down and I can do it all, but that stuff, I don't like that stuff. But Mike does that stuff, so, yeah, we're a good
He
team. We're a
seems
good team.
kinda hospital corners. Like, I
Yeah.
was looking at how his beard's trimmed. I'm like, "Yes, this is a guy who trims his beard every day." He's like, "There is a wayward hair, I must trim that."
Well,
So
Also,
Try.
but it's the beginning of the weekend. Catch us on Sunday.
Seems like you're a good team. So that's
Well,
wonderful.
thank you. Thank you.
All right,
Well,
Tina,
thank you so much for spending your
Okay.
time with us, and we'll see you next time on the Your
Okay.
Family Dog
Thank you.
podcast.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for spending part of your precious day with us. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to follow, rate, subscribe so that you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear from you. Connect with us on social media or email us at yourfamilydogpodcast@gmail.com. We'll see you soon.